Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about Forest Shuffle, specifically strategies for mushrooms. Which ones are stronger, which ones are weaker, and how to best use them. Currently I am only playing with the base game plus the Alpine expansion, just to note. And so if you don't have the Alpine expansion, it's an awesome expansion. It makes a great game even better, and I strongly encourage you guys to play with both. It makes the game a lot more balanced in a lot of ways and a lot more ways to win. So here we go. There are 5 different types of mushrooms. I'm going to have 3 tiers. My top tier, there's the mushroom with the paw print and the trees. My second tier, playing on top of a tree, playing a mountain card. And my bottom tier, I'm going to have playing card below a tree. I'm going to go through all 5 here in detail. So, why I picked the paw print and the tree one off the bat is really rather simple. First off, you're almost always going to play a bunch of trees. And so, at some level, you're going to get to draw several free cards. And really, that's why mushrooms are so strong. Any long-time card game player knows that card draw is a very powerful tactic. Ask anybody from random games of cards, from Magic the Gathering, card draws really matter. Free cards. So the mushrooms, this is the one chance you have to get a card advantage on one of your opponents. The tree one is especially powerful because you're going to play a lot of trees. In a 4 or 5 player game, I usually see people playing typically 8 to 10 trees. However, a 2 player game, it's much more common to have 15, 20, maybe even pushing 25 trees. That's a lot of free cards you get. For the paw print mushroom, it's kind of the same thing. There are a lot of cards with paw prints, and also a lot of ways to get them out, and a lot that are very good. So sticking with that, let's take, for example, the wolf, one of the strongest cards in the game. Wolf also has a paw print, so you play him, you're getting a bunch of points with your deer, you're drawing free cards here, and you get to draw the extra card with your mushroom. Another good stack is getting lots of your little hares. Let's say if you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hares, that's 25 points. The more you get, the more points you get. But thanks to this mushroom, I now get to draw 5 cards. More importantly, the hares, just like the wolf, anyone with a paw print, there are multiple ways to get them out very quickly. For example, here is your silver fur. As long as I pay with 2 dark blue cards, I can get all my hares out right about off the bat. So ideally, I have a bunch in my hand. I get 5 out. Put them on the silver fur. Thanks to my mushroom, I now get to draw 5 cards right at once, because I've played 5 hares. There's also the badger. He only costs 1 light blue card. You get to play your paw prints. And then there's the salamander. In this case, all these are bonus actions. You have to have the right colors. But there's a lot of ways to get the paw prints out. That makes them strong. There's also, because there's just a lot of strong paw print cards like the wolves, we're getting lots of the hares, that makes that very useful down the stretch. In general, if you play this, you will not be sorry that you played the mushroom with the paw prints. Alright, let's go to the second tier. Second tier, first I'm going to talk about the mountain mushroom. Now, generally, the second tier mushrooms I find, they can be just as powerful as tier 1, but you have to kind of go that way a little more, and you have to get a little luckier in the card draws. So this is great. There's a lot of good mountain cards. Here's your nice European larch. That's a great tree. One nice thing, kind of like with the paw print guys, when you play him, notice, if I pay with a dark purple to the clearing, I get to play all my mountain cards for free. So I could potentially play 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. These are good trees. There's 20 points. And then, because of my mushroom, draw 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in 1 turn. Anytime you can get several cards out and then draw several, that's a really strong combination. You often got to hold cards. You kind of got to wait. Whether it's with the bunnies or with your mountain cards, that gives you a chance. The harder thing, what can happen sometimes though, is you play your mushroom and you just don't get a lot of mountain cards. because a lot of people like the mountain cards. Once you play with the expansion, certain ones, like some people are just going to eat those up and not throw those on the board near as much. And so it can be a bit of luck of the draw, but you can get a whole bunch of points and a whole bunch of free cards. Similar story here for your draw card when you play on top of a tree. In general, I find there's two pretty strong stacks on top of a tree. First off is your butterflies. They're free, and you don't really want to play them slowly, but ideally, you play your salamander right here, and you get to play a whole bunch right at once. You play 4 butterflies, draw 4 cards, move on with life. Hopefully you're playing butterflies that are different. But even if not, you still get some points. Another great stack for above a tree is your birds. There's some good, very, very good individual birds. There's also, like, if you have here, the Goshawk gives you 3 points per bird. Once you get a couple of those, you know what? Play Mr. Tawny Owl. Hopefully you're drawing 3 cards, 4 cards, getting 5, 11 points. Play Mr. Bullfinch if you got some bugs somewhere. He's cheap. Now you're drawing a card, and so you're getting lots of birds. And lastly, tier 3. I really just haven't found them to be that strong. When you get the mushroom, where you're playing cards below a tree. Now, anything in this game can always be powerful. The problem is there's just less good cards to go underneath. There's a lot more paw prints. There's a lot more trees. Some of your best cards beneath start with the fern. If you get the fern, all of your other salamanders and lizards are 6 points. That makes your common toad, which is only 5 points maybe. It's now 11 points per card. But if you also get to draw that free card, that really makes all of these a lot more worthwhile. But there's a lot less of them, and there's a lot less to go together. There's a few mosses that are really nice, but it's not going to be like the birds or butterflies where you just keep playing bird, bird, butterfly, butterfly, or the bunny, bunny, bunny. And so really, that means the mushrooms, they are not of equal value. The mushroom below the tree is clearly the weakest. I have found him playing, and the strongest, for sure, is the tree one, and the one with the paw prints. That being said, when you play your mushrooms also matter. You really got to play them early. If you don't play the mushroom early, by mid-game, they're really not worth playing. The one exception is, like I say, if you're gathering bunnies and you got a whole bunch of bunnies in your hand, or a whole bunch of butterflies, in the middle of the game, if you know you're going to get a bunch of cards right away, it's probably still worth playing. But if you don't have an immediate benefit, about halfway through the game, just ignore the mushrooms. Don't even think about them, because you're not going to have enough time to make up for the fact that this is a card that costs two cards, and it gets you no points. Get your card draw. That helps early. That doesn't help late. Ideally, you start with a mushroom in your hand, your original 6, or if you draw up to 8 on your first turn, you get a mushroom right off the bat and you play it, and then you just go that way. That's great. Lastly, a 2-person game looks very different than a 4 or 5 player game when it comes to mushrooms. So in a 2-person game, you do take a lot more cards and randomly remove them. But when you do the math, the 2 people playing still have a lot more cards they'll get to play with than in a 5-player game. Meaning your forest is bigger, you get to play more cards. That means mushrooms are going to be stronger as a result. In a 4 or 5 player game, you just don't get to play that many cards. No one is probably playing more than 10 trees, and a lot of people won't get the 10 trees. That makes this a lot weaker. Same with the bunnies and the paw prints or anything else. You just don't get enough cards. In a 4 or 5 player game, if you don't play it the first 3 or 4 turns, I would strongly advise against even playing it. If you don't get it real quick, and especially with the tiers I've made, you know, as you go down the tiers, your tier 2 and 3 cards, you better have some in your hand. If you don't have birds, butterflies, or mountain cards in your hand, those mushrooms aren't going to help you. Or at least there's a good risk that you just wasted a couple turns. And lastly, just want to thank you guys for listening, and I hope you guys enjoy Forest Shuffle. It's such a fun game. Have a great day, everybody.